Pep Guardiola is leaving Manchester City. 10 years, 6 Premier League titles, 1 Champions League, 1 treble, 20 trophies in total, and a club he found in 9th place, that he turned into the most dominant team in English league history. It is over. And the question nobody has a good answer to is this: what happens now? This is 11 Field. Here is the full story of Guardiola's legacy at City, why his exit is one of the most significant moments in Premier League history, and why the man replacing him is more interesting than most people think. Let's start with the numbers, because they need to be said out loud. 6 Premier League titles, 1 Champions League, 3 FA Cups, 5 League Cups. That is 20 major trophies across 10 seasons, an average of 2 per year, every year for a decade. No manager in Premier League history has come close to that sustained level of dominance. Not Sir Alex Ferguson. Not Arsene Wenger. Not Jose Mourinho. Nobody. But the numbers only tell part of the story. In 2017-18, Manchester City won the Premier League with 100 points. The previous record was 95. They did not just win the title. They rewrote the definition of what winning it looked like. Guardiola himself, in his exit conversations with the club, is said to value something very specific about his time at City. Not the trophies, he values the cup competitions most, because one bad day can end your run. And under Guardiola, City almost never had bad days. He took them to Wembley for finals and semi-finals 24 times in 10 seasons. City were not just winning. They were setting a standard that made every other club in England look at themselves and wonder what they were doing wrong. Arsenal spent years studying them to understand how to beat them. Liverpool had to build an entire high-press system specifically to compete. That is what genuine dominance looks like. It does not just win trophies. It forces everyone else to evolve. Here is the warning that every Manchester City fan should be paying attention to right now. Sir Alex Ferguson retired from Manchester United in May 2013. He had won 20 major trophies. He had dominated English club sport for 25 years. And the day he left, Manchester United began falling apart in a way nobody fully anticipated. 13 years later, they are still searching for the kind of sustained success Ferguson made look routine. Arsenal had the same problem after Arsene Wenger left in 2018. 22 years without a title. Even though their squad was talented, the identity, the culture, and the tactical clarity that Wenger had built vanished with the man himself. This is the challenge facing Manchester City now. Guardiola did not just coach their players. He built their entire football philosophy, their recruitment criteria, their training methodology, their positional play system. Every single player at the club has been shaped by his ideas. And when the mind behind those ideas walks out of the door, the question is whether the ideas survive him. City's leadership are confident they are better positioned than United and Arsenal were. They have been planning this transition for over a year. They have watched what happened at Old Trafford and at the Emirates and taken notes. The key difference, they believe, is the specific choice of successor. Which brings us to the most interesting part of this story. Enzo Maresca, 46 years old, Italian, former Guardiola assistant at City, and the man who is set to take over when Guardiola formally departs. Here is why this appointment is more interesting than the typical former assistant becomes head coach story. Guardiola himself said something extraordinary about Maresca 2 years ago. He said, "He'll become an extraordinary manager in the future. I feel it like I felt it when I saw Mikel Arteta. It's the same with Enzo." That sentence matters, because Arteta went from Guardiola's assistant at City to Arsenal manager to Premier League champion. He has now won the title Arsenal had not won in 22 years and taken them to a Champions League final. He did it by implementing a Guardiola-influenced system adapted to Arsenal's identity. The blueprint worked. Can Maresca do the same at City? The evidence from his career so far is genuinely compelling. At Leicester in 2023-24, he won promotion from the Championship with 97 points, 89 goals, and an average possession figure above 60%, described by analysts as the closest reproduction of Guardiola-style positional play at any club outside the Etihad. He knows City's players. He knows City's systems. He worked under Guardiola long enough to understand not just what the methods are, but why they work. The challenge is different from Arteta's though. Arteta arrived at a broken Arsenal and rebuilt from scratch. Maresca arrives at a city that was built by the man he is replacing, and has to maintain a level of performance that the entire Premier League has spent a decade learning to compete with. It is not a rebuild. It is a relay race. And the baton is very heavy. 6 Premier League titles, 1 Champions League, 20 trophies in 10 years, and a club, and a league that will never be quite the same. Guardiola is done. Maresca is next. And the Premier League just got a whole lot more interesting. Do you think Manchester City can maintain this level after Guardiola leaves? Or is this the beginning of a decline like United after Ferguson? Drop your prediction in the comments. Subscribe to 11 Field. See you next time.